Hello and welcome back to my channel and to my fighting fantasy gamebook retrospective, and today we've reached book 9, Caverns of the Snow Witch, an appropriate book to be talking about on a sweltering August evening in my sauna of a flat. Now, let's get something out of the way straight away about this book, shall we? It's too hard. Oh my god, it's ridiculously hard. The whole point of these books is there's supposed to be a safe path, right? There's supposed to be a way through the game where you expend very little energy and it's all very easy. You've got to find that path. But in this book, there's no such path. Now, I've written this down because I was so incensed. I've written down every bit, right? The other thing about this game, right, is the nature of the quest keeps changing. I think Livingston is trying to write more of a novel. Right, so you start off, you run this merchant train going into this snowy country, right? And then you're attacked by a yeti. So the head of the merchant train says, go and kill that yeti. So off you go and you kill Yeti. You think that's your quest, right? You meet the Yeti. No matter how much you do, right, the Yeti has a skill set of 10. That's right at the beginning of the book. Then, right, you kill the Yeti, and there's this bloke going, oh, mate, oh, it's killed me. And he says, look, there's a snow witch over there who's really bad, but she's got some treasure. Go and kill her. And instead of just going back to your merchant train, to your job and collecting the money for killing the Yeti, you decide to go and destroy this arbitrary snow witch up in a mountain. Why? But you do. Anyway, so you go into the caverns of the Snow Witch and you meet all these creatures. Now, on the way to meeting the Snow Witch, you cannot avoid facing the Crystal Warrior, skill set 10. Then when you meet the witch, first of all you think you've killed the witch. Oh no, you haven't killed the witch. She comes back. She's just cheating you. But when you do meet the witch, you've got to have a skill of at least 10 or you can't defeat her. What's the point of that? Then you meet the Sentinel. He's got, I think he's got an attack strength of 9, right? You can't avoid him. And then there's some business with some grey boots that you need, and then you find out that it's better not to have them. That really irritated me. Then you meet the Brain Slayer. The Brain Slayer has got an attack strength of 10 yet again. Then, finally, you come to meet the real Queen, the Snow Queen. You think you've killed her, but you haven't. And to get through the Snow Queen, you have to play this kind of weird game of rock, paper, scissors. You found some discs. Arbitrarily you found these discs on the way to the Snow Queen. And if you haven't got the right discs, you can't play the game and you can't defeat her. What? Right? Then you kill the Snow Queen, right? So you think that's the end of the book, right? Oh no, you're only halfway through. You've teamed up with some dwarf and an elf, right? And you have to sort of get out of the caverns and go across land to the dwarf's village. Why? I don't really know. But then you get to the dwarf's village. The dwarf is completely useless. He dies. The dwarves, they start arguing amongst themselves and they start playing Forest of Doom all over again. They've lost their hammer again. They've got to go and find it. So they're bloody useless. So then you carry on with the elf, who you're big mates with now. Then you're big chums and you're on your walk in the woods with your elf friend. And he turns around to you and says, you know what, mate? We're dying. What? Really? Yes, we are. I didn't tell you before because I didn't think the dwarf would want to know. But we were cursed by the Snow Witch and we're dying of an incurable disease. And the only way we can stop the incurable disease is if we find this shaman in the mountains who we've only just heard about, 300 pages into the book. What? And then you have to face a group of birdmen who have got attack strength of 12. Then the amount of stamina that the death spell takes out of you is ludicrous. So you have to have bundles of stamina to survive. Then the healer's concoction, right, when you get to the healer, what you need is a dragon's egg, which you find really arbitrarily earlier on in the book. And if you just didn't happen to collect the dragon's egg, you're going to die. You're dead. Which I just thought was ludicrous. So what you've got is a book that's very disjointed. It hops from one quest to another, which I don't think really helped the overall feel of the book. It doesn't help that the quest gets more interesting as it goes on. The stuff with the healer is actually more interesting than the stuff with the Snow Witch and the Yeti, right? And it gives a very disjointed feel to it. And it's so hard. And what's also, after Scorpion Swamp, where you had that sense of freedom and expansiveness and being able to move between all sorts of different areas whenever you feel like it, this is so rigid. It's so rigid in the path that you take, and the path you take is so hard. So altogether, I really don't enjoy this book at all. It's my least favourite of the first 10 books. I never liked it when I first bought it when I was a teenager, and I still don't like it now, actually. A quick word on the artwork. The cover artwork is done by good old Les Edwards, and is a startling and impressive realisation of a particular scene. I'm not sure whether I like that. I like an overall cover that gives the sense of the texture of the whole book, not just one particular scene in it. And I don't know why he's picked that particular scene. That's the fake Snow Witch, not the real Snow Witch. The inside artwork. Now, let's talk about this for a second. It's done by Gary Ward and Edward Crosby. It's very impressive. It's based on like old woodcuts. In the 1700s and the 1800s, you used to get those old German woodcuts of folklore stories. They've got a sort of timeless feel to them. And they're done very well. But the problem is that they don't have the same straightforward you're there realism of the Ian McCaig artwork. That had a sort of fantasy realism. You felt you were in Death Trap Dungeon. You felt you were in the City of Thieves. The problem with this woodcut is it sort of immortalises it. It makes it look fable-like. Instead of you're actually in the adventure, it makes it look like a picture on a wall. It distances you from it. So you don't get the sort of realism, the sort of dynamism of actually being in the game. I think it's very good artwork, but it doesn't really work. It's sort of, the atmosphere just congeals like ice. It doesn't, there's no warmth, there's no sort of immediacy in the drawing. And I think that really limits the atmosphere of the game. So, I'm sorry, I can't give this one a good review. It's one of my least favourite in the original run. But I'd love to know if you think differently. Is this a favourite of yours? Let me know. Next time, don't worry, it won't be as negative next time, because next time, number 10 is House of Hell, and that's a fantastic game book.